Hey there, good evening. This is Adrian here, Quantum Leap Consulting. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a great day. Had another fantastic day over here in the Canaries in the sunshine down at the beach. Really enjoying life, not trying to rub it in, but that was just exactly what we did today. It was a fantastic day. So thank you. Welcome to day three of the Master Your Success Mindset. The masterclass have been running for all of this week. Started on Monday, and we're going to do it all the way through until this Friday. Um, I'm really excited to share today's lesson with everybody when we're going to be talking about understanding paradigms. And we're going to use one of my favorite images of all time to try and explain what a paradigm is, how it affects what you do, and how to overcome these paradigms in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. Um, so, like yesterday, we're going to start off talking and doing a little bit of a recap today. um, Apologies if there's an awful lot of um, birds tweeting and cars going in the background. It's just where I am at the moment. So hopefully you'll forgive me for that. So when we look at goals, goals is what we were speaking about on Monday, and setting the right goals. I hope everybody did the exercise of taking a blank sheet of paper and one of the most powerful tools that there is, a pen, and sitting down and writing out your top 100 wants. It can actually take you an awful long time to get to the 100. I do remember myself, the very first time I did it, it took me an awful long time to get to 100. But by really thinking about it and by really letting the imagination run riot and letting the imagination go free, I was able to get to the 100. And then from there, I was able to narrow it down, as I said, to get to the 10. Um, Now, if you are joining us live, I would love to see some comments come through. I'll do my best to try and answer as many comments as we possibly can. I would ask you also, because I'm going to give you my email address here. It's going across the bottom of the screen there now. If you can send me a quick email, so then I have your email and I can send you a free gift. I have a copy of Bob Proctor's number New York best-selling number 1 book of You Were Born Rich, and I can have a copy of that to send to everybody who drops me an email, or puts their email into the comments. I'd be delighted to send it to you. Um, my email address quantumleapconsultingirl@gmail.com. Something just to say, a question I got asked a few times about why the name Quantum Leap. So when I set up the company Quantum Leap Consulting, why did I use the term Quantum Leap? And the way I try to explain it is that I want to try and get people from where they are to where they want to be as quickly as possible. Most of the time, when we talk about growth and when we look at um, what we want to achieve, we might look at increasing where we are from maybe 5% or 10% compared to last year. And, they're nice, safe type B goals, let's say. If you remember from Monday when we talked about type A, type B, and type C goals, that would be a type B goal. It's the sort of thing that you think you can get to if you dot all your I's and cross all your T's. And it's not a huge stretch. Um, I mean, 5 or 10% per year is very, you know, safe. It's very okay, but it's not where most people want to go. So if you're somebody that's earning, let's say an average of 50,000 euros per year, if you then go to try and get a 5 or 10% increase, I mean, you're only talking about a 2,500 or a 5,000 increase over the course of a year, and that's not a huge amount. Um, it is possible to increase by 100% or 200% by concentrating on what it is that you really love doing. And an awful lot of people would look at you as if you got two heads and go, well, that's not really possible, but it is possible. And that's what I mean about a type C goal. That is the type of goal that's going to cause you to stretch, really, really grow from where you currently are to where you want to be. Maybe for an awful lot of people would set the goal of, let's say, let's do aim for 10,000 euros per month as a really good type C stretch goal, and that's great, and that can be done, and is done by thousands of people all across the world by using the information that I'm providing for you here this evening. Obviously, it goes into an awful lot more in depth when we get into the Thinking into Results program, but the basis of it is here, and what I want to try and provide for everybody here is, even if you were to never look at PGI again, or if you were never to think about joining and completing the Thinking into Results program, at least you've got something here for free that give you the basis of what it is that we're talking about. So, how was Monday? Monday we were talking about type A goals. Type A goals obviously being something that you know you can do because it's something that you've done before. Type B goals being something that you think you can do, and type C goals then being the fantasy, being the real sort of dream. That's where you really want to be, and that's the one that you fall in love with. That's the one that you have that emotional connection with, that burning desire in order to get it, and that's what helps you to achieve it. Without that emotional connection and that burning desire to achieve it, you're never going to do it. So write your list of 100, narrow it down to 10, take that list of 10, narrow it down to the one that you want to work on most, and that's the first one that you're going to achieve. Now, obviously, once you've achieved that one, you can move on to number 2, and then you can move on to number 3, and before you know it, you'll have achieved your top 10. And then what happens? Then you create bigger and better goals again, and you start all over again, getting into the next level of success and the next level of achievement. So then, yesterday we spoke about self-image. I told you about a guy called Dr. Maxwell Maltz, and your self-image, as it's going across the bottom of the screen, your self-image sets the boundaries for your success. So if you have a real positive self-image of yourself, your results will be positive. If you have a very limited self-image of yourself, your results would be limited. And if you have a negative self-image of yourself, which so many of us actually do, your results would be negative. Now, just because that's where your self-image is right now, that doesn't mean that that's where it's always going to stay. Absolutely not. You have the power to change your self-image. And that's what we went through yesterday when we talked about imagining your life as a movie and thinking about whether you would want, whether you're happy to sit on the sidelines and be a supporting actor, or whether you want to be the star of your own movie. And the best thing to do in order to get you into that is to write down the script of your movie. The script is your life. You are the star of your show. You say, I live in Adrian world, or this is the Adrian show. As so far as I'm concerned, this is my life, my movie, and I'm going to make the most out of it. And you could do the exact same thing. So, we will get everybody to write their life script, and you write it and you read it, and then you reread it, and then you reread it, and you reread it again, over and over and over again, because that's how you create that emotional connection with it. And it's our emotions, as you're going to see later on today. It's your emotions that really drive the actions, what you actually do as a person. It's not the thoughts that you have. The thoughts can come and go, but it's the emotional connection in your subconscious mind that you attach to these thoughts. That's what drives you. That's what creates the desire to move forward. That's what creates the actions that then create the results, be they either negative or positive. So we have a saying, and it's an amazing saying, and is you become what you think about all day long. So whether you're thinking about how positive you are or whether you're thinking about how negative you are, that's what you become. So you need to be careful what you think about. I did a few little videos on TikTok there recently, and that's the theme of it all the time. Is you have to be careful what you think about, because you become what you think about. I was reading a fantastic book there the other day, as well. It was Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker, and a fantastic book. That would be a huge recommendation of mine if you ever wanted to read a book about becoming a millionaire or having that millionaire mindset. I think it's phenomenal. Um, and he said the same thing in using different words, but pretty much the same thing, is that what you concentrate on, you develop, or what you concentrate on grows. So if you're constantly faced and thinking about the negative things that you think about yourself, that's what's going to grow, and that's going to have a really negative impact on your actions, and then your actions are going to cause reactions, and they're going to be negative reactions, yeah, or negative results. So I'm going to try something here in a little bit to try and explain um, an image that was developed by Dr. Turman Fleet back in the 1930s or 1940s. It really explains how the mind works. For the sake of this drawing, once I do it, we're going to talk about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, and we're going to divide the mind into two pieces now, or two parts, sorry. And there's probably much more than that, but for the sake of what we want to talk about and this diagram, we're going to concentrate on there being the conscious and the subconscious mind. Paradigm is a funny word. It's one that I'd never heard of up until probably about 5 years ago. And it is amazing that we've never heard about it, or that we never learn about any of this, because a paradigm is, it controls about 90% of what you do every day. So from the moment you get up into the morning to the moment you go to bed, there's a sort of a routine that you fall into. And not only in what you do, but how you think and how you approach different circumstances. All of it is controlled by this paradigm. And the best way I can explain a paradigm to anybody is that it's like your mind is a computer program. And these paradigms are programs that control what we do as if we're a computer, let's say. Yeah. So the a lot of what we do, as I said, from the moment we get up in the morning, are habits. So you get up and you get into a routine, and they're habits. And we call a paradigm is a group of habits formed together that control a certain aspect of our life. I spoke yesterday about the self-image, about how it is like a autopilot on an airplane, and the cybernetic mechanism. So if you get blown off course as you're going along, this image that you have of yourself corrects itself and brings you back to where you have been previously. So say for example, as I said, you're a salesperson, and on average you sell about 10,000 euros or dollars worth of whatever it is that you're selling each year. At the end of the year, that's a million two. Let's say this, you are, as a salesperson, have a bumper month, and you sell 20, 30,000 euros of this particular product, and you have a bumper year. The next year, believe it or not, your cybernetic mechanism, your self-image, is going to bring you back to your million two, your 1.2 million of sales. So it's a powerful thing, and that's the paradigm, is that cybernetic mechanism. So when you think a thought, so we're going to move on to the diagram, the stick man diagram, and I'm going to try sharing it on the screen and drawing it as we speak. So mind is not just in your brain. Yeah. If if you were to ask somebody to have, or to tell you, what does the mind look like, chances are most people will tell you, uh, show you a picture of the brain. That's what the mind looks like. But it's not exactly true. Mind is not just in your brain. Your brain is a very advanced mechanism. It's an electronic switching station, and it's amazing at what it does. But mind is not. Your mind is not just in your brain. Your mind is in every cell of your body. So, but for the sake of this diagram, we're going to draw two circles, and we're going to imagine that the larger circle is the head and the smaller circle is the body. Because the body is actually an instrument of the mind. The body does exactly what the mind tells it to do. So let's try and do this. So we're going to use a whiteboard here. And on this whiteboard, I am going to draw these two circles. So they're going to look roughly like circles. So this is the big circle, and this is the little circle. So the big circle up the top is the mind. The small circle down the bottom is the body, and we'll explain what the rest of it means. Now we're going to divide the mind into two pieces. The top piece here is going to be called the conscious mind, and the bottom piece here is going to be called the subconscious mind. So when we think, or when a thought comes into our mind, it initially comes in here into our conscious mind. Um, and the great thing about the conscious mind is it has the ability to either accept or reject any thought that comes its way. So if somebody says to you something that you don't like, you actually have the ability to reject that thought and go, well, I don't like that thought. And that's it. You think another thought, you replace it with one that you do like. So our thoughts are up here. Okay. So this is our thoughts. But when a thought comes into our conscious mind and we do agree with it and we become emotionally connected with it, we pass it over to our subconscious mind. And in the subconscious mind, we're dealing with emotions. And these emotions, as I said earlier on when we were talking about the goals, it's the emotions once we need that emotional connection with the goal in order to make things happen. And these emotions determine our beliefs. And it's what we believe and what we're emotionally connected with, which controls our body. And the body then creates an action, and that action creates a reaction, which is our result. And that result can either be positive or negative. So in the subconscious mind here, this here, right here, is where the paradigms live. So how are paradigms created? Paradigms are created by repetition over a long period of time. Well, really, they can be created in two different ways. Bob used to always say that there can be a sudden emotional impact that can create a paradigm. But most of the time, paradigms are created by constant spaced repetition. And it's great that we understand that and we know that because we can then create powerful paradigms ourselves outside of what is already there. So most of the beliefs that we have in relation to, let's say, money, in relation to jobs, in relation to religion and all these sort of things. These were all things that were built into our subconscious mind as we were as we were growing up. So from the time that we were very small up until, so from the time we're born up until about the time of 7, a lot of the basic programming or building of those paradigms is done. And after that, a young child has the ability to use the conscious mind, and then they're able to reject these thoughts. If they have the positive self-image built in here, they are then able to reject any negative thoughts. But for the most part, a young child doesn't have this conscious mind part, and it only deals with the subconscious mind. And everything that the parent says about, their own preconceptions or their own paradigms and programming in relation to mostly, let's say, money or jobs, those sort of things. That then gets passed down to the child, and they become part of the hardwired programming of the child. So I would say I wouldn't be alone when many of us, as were growing up, we were taught certain things by our parents in relation to money, that money doesn't grow on trees, money is limited, you have to work hard for money, all these sort of things are being taught to us. And, you go to school, you get yourself a good education, you get a job, and then you start making money. And there was a time when some of those things were true, but the reality is we live in an abundant world where there is absolutely no shortage of money. Money is printed at a rate of knots, and there is enough money out there for everybody. Um, if you believe that that is the fact. But most of us have negative thoughts in here when it comes to money. Um, and that is part of the reason why those negative thoughts, those negative beliefs there affect the actions, affect our body, affect the actions of what we actually do. And then that obviously affects the results that we get. So if we have a negative belief in our subconscious mind in relation to money, that it's hard to get money, we can't get a lot of money, money is scarce, uh, rich people are not nice, etc., all those sort of things, then that's going to affect on a subconscious level how we actually act. So we're going to not believe that we can get whatever amount of money it is that we want. We're going to believe that money is scarce. It's going to lead us to do actions that reinforce those beliefs. So we're going to get jobs that don't pay us an awful lot of money, and we're going to live with these negative results. Now, many coaches, this is the one difference between, I suppose, what I do and what the PGI does in comparison to a lot of coaches is a lot of coaches will concentrate on this section here, which is the actions, and they will tell you different things that you need to do in order to get a different result. And you will have, or the person will have, some temporary they will have some temporary change in results, and they can change those negative results into positive results. But before long, these mental programmings that are up here in the subconscious mind, these paradigms, will reinstate themselves, and they will change these actions because they haven't been programmed in here. They will change these actions, and that person will go back to their same previous results. So the paradigms live down here in the subconscious mind, and it is incredibly, incredibly important that you understand that, and that most of the things that you do on a daily basis are things that you don't actually control, but you can. Is the thing. You can actually control it. It's impossible to actually uh, rewrite a paradigm. So those programs that are in your mind are always going to be there. But what you want to do is you want to overwrite them. So you want to instill in your subconscious mind more powerful programs that are going to take what you take your previous paradigms and almost make them submissive to these new paradigms that you're building in your subconscious mind. And that's the trick. That is how you change the actions, and that is how you change your results permanently. Because as I say, if you just concentrate on the actions, then you're going to see some form of change in results, but it won't be permanent. It, over time, it'll revert right back to where you were beforehand. Now, I absolutely love this little diagram. I think it is immensely important as a way to help people to understand the mind. Um, if I was to ask anybody to, um, if I was just talking to a person, I would ask them to close their eyes and to describe their house to me, or to describe the apartment that they live in, or to describe their car to me, their motorbike, their car, whatever the case may be. Um, and in order for somebody to do that, what happens is a picture of that belonging, that whatever it is, flashes up on the screen of the person's mind, and they're able to describe it. It's an amazing thing that we as humans, we think in pictures. Everything that we do, we think in pictures. When we use our imagination and we design something, we're thinking in pictures. No matter what it is that we think about, it's pictures that flash up in our mind. But like I said earlier on, when I asked somebody to tell me what does the mind look like, nobody's able to tell you because nobody's ever seen the mind. And that's why this diagram is so important. It's because it gives us a visual representation of what the mind is, And once we have an image to work with, we're able to do something about it. We're able to change it. Yeah. And that's why this is so important. And this is why I love this. Um, it was one of the most amazing things that I learned through the Thinking into Results program was this, and I absolutely love it. So, in our last 5 minutes of today's masterclass, God, time flies when you're having fun. You can tell I absolutely love this lesson in particular, talking about paradigms. Um, I think it is immensely important that people understand it. I don't see any comments coming through. It's a pity. It'd be nice to have some sort of interaction. If somebody is there, you can maybe put a comment to say live if you're watching live, or if you're watching back on a replay, please put in hashtag replay. I will be going back and I'll be watching to see the comments that come through, and I will reply. Um, as I asked before, if you are able to put me in, send me an email, I'll send you across the free copy of the You Were Born Rich book by Bob Proctor. Amazing book, outlines an awful lot of what we've spoken about over the last couple of days. Um, and it is really, really, really helpful when it comes to understanding yourself better. And when you understand yourself better, you're able to change you. And one of my favorite things about mindset and working with mindset is once people actually engage with this and think about it, they can see that the only thing that's stepping or standing in their way of their success is themselves. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term, I mean that in an absolutely positive way. Because if you're the only thing that's standing in the way of you succeeding and you getting what it is that you want out of life, um, then you are the person that has the power to change it. You know, you don't have to rely on anybody else. You don't have to wait for somebody else to provide an opportunity for you. If you have the power, which you do, to succeed in whatever it is that you choose to do, um, you can do it. Simple as that. And once you understand the basics of it, and once you understand how the mind works through the um, stickman drawing. Hopefully, you will grow to love it as much as I do. If you do join me and become a student of the Thinking into Results program, it's something that you will see over and over and over and over again. And that's really the basis of learning anything, is the constant spaced repetition of an idea. So if you remember back to when you were in school and you had to learn a new concept, that's exactly how the teachers did it. They got you to read the same thing over again. You got to write the same thing over and again. You got to listen to the same thing over and again. And then you were given a test on that thing where you had to remember it and write it. And that's exactly how we learn as humans. That's how we learn. We learn by repeating, repeating, repeating. So as we're coming then into the last couple of minutes, just a really, really quick recap on where we've been so far this week. So, day one, we talked about goals, about setting the right goal for you, how to identify what it is that you want, how to, or all of the things that you want, how to narrow that down then to one thing that you want most, and how you're going to be able to work on that. From there, then we spoke about the self image. And the self image is incredibly important because how the image that you have of yourself in your mind's eye, in your mind's eye, is what determines how successful or not that you are, along with all the other things we spoke about. Then today, the paradigms, the importance of paradigms, understanding what paradigms are, how to determine whether the paradigms you have are positive or negative. You just look at your results. If your results are positive and they are what you want, well, then you've got good, strong paradigms that are going to get you what you want. If they are negative results, then you know that you need to work on your paradigms. Tomorrow, we're going to have a really quick look at what I call the terror barrier. And the terror barrier is what is once you think about stepping outside of your comfort zone, the terror barrier is what we all sort of run straight into. It's like a big brick wall, and it's what generally bounce back off that and back into where it is that we were. But on the other side, understanding what you now understand in relation to the mind allows us to bust through that terror barrier and to get the results that we want. Okay, so happy Wednesday. Thank you very much for being here this evening. I really enjoyed it. This will be replayed over on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on the Quantum Leap Consulting YouTube channel. If you post any comments, I will get back to you. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Thanks for being here on Wednesday, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Be good. Take care. Bye now.